super honored to bring this incredible being to all of you. We realized that we're soul sisters, and Suzanne Ross is an absolute leader in this community of Ascension. She puts on one of the largest Ascension and Awakening conferences in all of Sedona, probably in all of the world. She embodies over 25 years of experience coaching thousands to enhance their mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. As a spiritual counselor and a channeler, she tunes into higher intelligence, Akashic records, energy centers, and activates your dormant DNA. She's the author of the Up trilogy, creator of Sci-Spi TV network. She's a national speaker and the CEO of Awakening, a 501c3, offering Ascension retreats in Sedona that I am now part of, and I'm supporting her next event, which we will be sharing with you guys later. It's in March, so we welcome all of you back for that. Suzanne is also doing an incredible journey. For those of you that are VIPs, we have 3 sacred journeys, and that she has one. We'll share with you more about that on Saturday. And any of you that are not a VIP holder, we have an upgrade pass if you want to go on one of those. She takes you out on the land. It's absolutely incredible. Suzanne, I cannot wait to witness you fully. Sister, come on up here. Thank you.
Wow, what an introduction. Bless you, sweetheart, and bless you both for putting on this incredible event. And all of you beautiful children of light for being here. The children of light are being called at this time to bring the love light frequency to the new earth. You're being called and you've answered the call. Those of us who are serving, we humbly serve as a humble servant, a humble servant. And we wake up every day and we look at the sun, which is a divine portal to the divine source, and we say, how may I serve? And then we just see what opportunities arise for us to serve. And so I feel it's really important just to stay humble and to always recognize that while we are dedicated to the awakening and ascension of humanity, that we honor everyone for whatever level that they're at, recognizing that there are many spectrums on the evolutionary thresholds, and so just to be in honor and service to everyone. So my presentation today is going to be both a teaching, and we're going to dive deep into some spiritual concepts, some scientific concepts. Science has been a very important part of my spiritual journey, and so I created a TV network called Sci-Spi.tv, merging science and spirituality to give us answers to the greatest mysteries of creation. And so today's presentation is both a teaching and an activation. I wanted to do a PowerPoint because the teachings and the graphics are themselves an activation, although we will also be doing an energetic activation, a Merkaba activation as well. And I bought my crystal bowl to enhance that experience. As Nicole so kindly introduced me, I am a spiritual guide here in Sedona, and I offer journeys out on the land where we engage in sound healing, chakra journeys. We do shamanic healing and honor the Native American traditions of the 4 elements, and I thoroughly enjoy doing that. I also offer energy healing and intuitive readings, both live and online. And like Nicole said, I love to host large conferences here in Sedona and have been doing so for 8 years. And it's truly my pleasure to bring together the Unity community in that way. Okay, so let's get started, beloved children of light. Ascension through Transfiguration. And so when we talk about the ascension and the new earth, I think it's really important to share the techniques for ascending and what does ascension really mean. So ascension is the next slide that's not coming up even though I'm pointing. Oh, there we go. Ascension, the act of rising to an important position or a higher level. Right? We're rising to a higher level. This is an uprising. And many of us are feeling a uprushing of energies right now. The ascent of Christ into heaven on the 40th day after the resurrection. And so we are talking about heaven. And when we talk about heaven, we think about Christ, right? Christ consciousness. And I really do believe that the second coming or the return of Christ is really the return of Christ consciousness, right? Like our dear friend Krista said, we are the ones we've been waiting for, right? It's time to ascend into Christ consciousness. And then there's the Transfiguration, a complete change of form or appearance into a more beautiful or spiritual state. In this light, the junk, I mean, this is literally a definition on Google about transfiguration. In this light, the junk undergoes a transfiguration. It shines. What's the junk? It's the junk DNA that physicists have been talking about that lies dormant within our being. And we'll definitely go into more of that because nobody's going to leave here with their DNA lying dormant. We're going to ignite it, right? Because in the light, the junk undergoes a transfiguration. It shines so that we can become our shining light body. Christ's appearance in radiant glory. And so that's what we're going to be. We're going to appear in our radiant glory through teachings and practices. I love this graphic because it's important to recognize where we're at right now, right? I came up with wilder than fiction because who here, since they awoke on their journey, has been going, what the right? You keep learning more. What the? And I've been doing that for 2 decades, right? I'm an Arcturian. I'm a galactic being. There's something called the Illuminati. Like, what the? So it is the bizarre dance of light and shadow. But we all volunteered to come here to this third dimension of duality, did we not? Right. So we're not, jumping to leave this reality. We came here to serve this reality, right? But we can become an ascended higher dimensional being with a higher perspective and higher consciousness and serve 3D. Something that I always have to remind myself is that higher consciousness serves lower consciousness, okay? And that's what we've come here to do. Uplift, elevate, right? You have the ascended masters in the higher dimensions reaching back to give us a hand up. And that's what we do too. So in higher consciousness, we're taking the higher road, right? And we're being tested. We've gone through many initiations, right? We've gone into dark nights of the soul, which I always say are a great gift because it's just another opportunity to emerge victorious into the light, right? And usually the light is bigger than brighter than ever on the other side. So this is a bizarre dance of light and shadow here in 3D. Oops, I'll get this thing dialed. So I became very fascinated about this idea that we are in an age of enlightenment. And how does that come about, right? And then I started to hear about this processional cycle and this 12,500 years on an ascending arc into an age of enlightenment and a 12,500 year descending arc into the dark ages, and how our solar system is literally on this path. It's a 26,000 year game. And we're going to go into virtuality as a concept I've recently come onto. But as I began to study that and recognize the ages of the yugas, the Hindus say that we go through these ages of the yugas on this 26,000-year path. And we zero point out at a dark age, and the dark ages literally came about after the death of Jesus Christ in around 500 AD, right? But if we zero point out there, we would really only be 2,022 years on a 12,500-year ascending arc. So how can we be in a golden age of enlightenment? And then I came across this book called the Bilgi Kitabi, which is a channeled book. And I discovered this. Now, this book is like 5,000 pages of this woman in Ataturk, Turkey, who is channeling all of these higher beings, and one group that she channels is called the Solar Hierarchy, and the Solar Hierarchy said that in 1900 we were put on an accelerated evolution plan, that the brothers and sisters of light put humanity on this accelerated evolutionary plan where 1 year equals 100 years, catapulting us in 100 years, 10,000 years, right? And so, boom, here we are. It's perfect timing, 12,000 years on the ascending arc. And so it confirmed for me, yes, we are in this age of enlightenment. And why did they put us on this accelerated path? Because in 1900, the brothers and sisters of light saw what the brothers and sisters of darkness were up to with their new world order and wanted to give us a chance as the children of light to come together to co-create a new earth and to get off this 3D wheel and ascend into the next higher plane. So bless the solar hierarchy for coming to our rescue with the salvation plan. And they do call it a salvation plan. And this is called a salvation plan throughout ancient scriptures. We are here to save ourselves and others from the darkness by ascending into the light, right? And so I won't go into the other side today, but I want to jump right into virtuality. So I became really interested in this idea that we are holographic fractals, that this is a hologram, and that it is being projected from another source, right? This idea that there's one true reality at the core of creation, where all beings are in their perfect divine blueprint. And these beings are projecting holographic fractals of themselves into these holograms called earth spheres, right? Because any holographic fractal has to have a source, right? There's got to be a source projecting it. And so what's the source behind it? What's the source of this holographic fractal? And so I became interested in this concept, which I call virtual reality, where we're actually avatars in this space-time game, right? And who's playing the game? Who is the gamer behind the scenes of this virtual reality game but our source self, our eternal soul? Okay, yay. Okay, this is where we're going to get into a visual, okay? This is the light. This is an infinite sea of pure light and pure consciousness from which we came. And so close your eyes, and I'm just going to guide a little visualization for you. Take some nice deep breaths, inhaling and expanding your belly. Exhale and release it. Inhale and expand. Exhale and release. See yourself in an infinite sea of golden light all around you in 360 degrees as far as you can see a golden sea of light. And here in this golden sea, this infinite sea of pure consciousness, the One awoke. Awoke and said, I am. In this moment of self-realization, projected a mirror image of self. And in a moment of recognition, a bright white light came into being. And the Mother, Father, God, the Child, and the Holy Spirit emerged in this infinite sea as the Divine Trinity, resting in a state of perfect unity in bliss here in infinity. But then the Divine Trinity had an urge to know thyself, to create, recognizing that they are creator beings, but needed a place to start creating, a place that had a beginning. And knowing this process of reflection, reflected upon themselves to create an inverted pyramid, piercing a hole in infinity into eternity, to create the first eternal realm, the first central universe. Now, as the creative Trinity, creating in all four directions as all four elements, they began expressing themselves as 12, 3 in all four directions. And the first 12 archetypes came into being, the one infinite creator expressing itself as 12. And all of the eternal souls that were created also expressing themselves as 12. And then these beings had a stir to know thyself in a different way, beyond existing and being in this existential reality, into doing and experiencing. And so, collectively, they projected a mental construct called space-time. And into this mental construct projected 12 dimensions, and in each of these 12 dimensions, 12 different timelines into which they could project 12 aspects of themselves. I attune to Theosophy, which says that we are projecting 12 aspects of ourselves into each of 12 dimensions for 144 soul extensions, the monad. We are of and from the divine source. We are the Divine Trinity expressing itself. This space-time construct is being projected from a source reality that is directly infused with the divine love and light that it came from. We, as our source selves, are also infused with this divine love and light as we project into space-time. And with that visualization, please open your eyes. This is the Divine Trinity, and we are being called now to trinitize space-time, to move beyond duality and into the trinity of who we are. And so this is the light of Source in the Divine Trinity, shining through. And the lens through which the eternal souls view the space-time reality is the Merkaba. And these are the golden light bodies that are being projected into space-time, and that's who we are, right? We are golden light beings housed in this physical vessel And that's exactly what we want to do, is activate our golden light bodies. And as we said, space-time is a mental construct. A book that I reference in my book, Rise Up, the Urantia book, says that we have 7 super universes being projected from the central universe. These 7 super universes represent the 7 chakras, right? There's even a name for the super universe that our local universe is within, and it's called Orvonton, and our local universe is called Nebadon, and this planet is called Urantia, according to the higher beings that were coming through in this Urantia book. And so it's fascinating that the first civilization on our planet was actually called So we have some knowing. Because I'm super fascinated by science, I tuned into this theoretical physicist called Garrett Lisi, who discovered this form called the E8 crystal, or E8 lattice. And this E8 lattice contains all the elements on the elemental chart, which creates our experience of this reality. And what he discovered is that this E8 lattice, which is a spherical crystal, is being projected from the 8th dimension into the 4th dimension to derive 3D. So when we talk about this reality being projected from a higher reality, theoretical physicists are now proving this, that the source of our Earth grid is being projected from the 8th dimension into the 4th dimension to derive 3D. I just thought that was so fascinating, because we talk about all of these things. It's a projection, it's holograph, but when you really start getting the proof of that, for me it's very affirming, and I'm like, yes it is. And this is an example, right, of being projected, and how the entire universe is intelligent, right? Everything that happens, from weather, to the movement of the stars, the movement of the planets, our evolutionary tract, it's all intelligent. And as such, we are part of that as a being of intelligence. And as such, we can communicate, right, as intelligent beings with the intelligence of the universe. And so I began to wonder if the Earth spheres are all being projected from the 8th dimension. What about our souls? And so I came across this idea of this E9 soul crystal. And of course it's in the pattern of the flower of life, being projected from the 9th dimension onto the 3rd dimension to create our fractalized beings. And this is just a picture that I thought was fun to demonstrate that we as an eternal soul or oversoul are likely a crystal sphere, right? A beautiful spherical mandala of all of our unique shapes, colors, and patterns, because what better way to project out into 360 degrees into all of these creations than from a spherical mandala, right? And who here has ever seen an orb, an energetic orb, right? We know these are intelligent beings, and they show up in the form of an orb. So I believe that our eternal souls or source selves are actually contained within this spherical mandala. Then I came across another very interesting scientific fact. Retinal scientists, cognitive brain scientists, have now discovered that our retina is not viewing this reality, it's projecting it. Whoa, right? And so when we have an apple in our hand, we're not looking at it, we're projecting it. Our reality is being projected through us from our source selves. But we are co-creating with our source selves, our eternal soul. And the whole point of teaching virtuality is to tune you into the eternal source essence who is projecting you, right? So that you can co-create the most positive outcomes you wish to manifest, right? And so know this thus, that you are projecting your reality every moment as you move through it, collapsing the waves of potential into the forms that appear before you, right? And we know this through various experiments that have been done, that we are collapsing the waves of potential as we move through the reality by being the conscious observer of them. And there's been many experiments performed. One is called the buckyball experiment, where they realized that electrons were only waves until they were observed by an intelligent observer, and only then did they collapse into form. So you are collapsing your reality into form every day as you move through it, projecting it. You are a creator of your reality. Collectively, we're creating this event and projecting each other. How cool is that? And this is the lens that we're seeing through, right? And you can see how it creates this grid, which is a reflection of a higher grid, right? And so if our eternal soul essence is at the center of creation as an eternal soul infused by the divine source, right? Then what the eternal souls are projecting is a reflection of the source reality, which is heaven, right? This heavenly reality. It's all projection and reflection. And what if this is the source reality, right? This heavenly place. And all the things here are simply a projection or reflection of it. Let the space-time games begin. Yes, 12 archetypes projected into space-time. And the source self projecting source consciousness. So it's always source consciousness that's being projected through our eternal souls. The descension and ascension of consciousness fractalized into avatars at each level. This comes from one of my favorite books of all time, The Keys of Enoch, by Dr. J.J. Hurtak, who will be at my event in March. But the Book of Knowledge, Keys of Enoch, talks about the descension and ascension of the soul. So that's really what we're talking about here. My very first slide was pure love and light, right? And this is where we come from. But then our soul makes a choice to descend through, let's say there's 12 dimensions, through these 12 dimensions, and with each one, they're falling further and further into the density, right, and becoming more and more dense. When we awaken, as all of you are and have and continue to, we turn away from the darkness and we turn back towards the light, and we look at the light and begin our journey home. The ascension path, back into the light, right? And so that is the path that we are on now. We've turned away from the darkness. Here in this fourth dimension is a transitional dimension where we have the opportunity to choose to serve the light selflessly, or we can choose to go ahead and play that 3D game again if we feel our soul hasn't mastered it or isn't done learning through duality, chaos, drama, right? And it's okay. It's not a judgment day. There's no judgment, right? We're 5D beings here. We're non-judgment, non-attachment, right? We recognize that it's just a game. And those who aren't done learning the game of 3D at level 3, right, they're going to go back around the wheel again to continue to learn the valuable lessons that they can learn in a 3D duality. But those of us here today, and so many of us on the planet right now, are done learning through separation and suffering. Who's done learning through separation and suffering? Let's blow the lid off this 3D matrix and step into the next higher level, right? And so there is a bifurcation that's going on right now, and many of us are aware of that. There's an ascension and a descension, and it's just the cyclical nature of realities, right? So not only is it an ascension, descension, but I wanted to point out here that we spiral out from a center, and then when we awaken, we spiral back into the source. So energetically, this is how it looks. It's not necessarily going up and coming down as much as it is spiraling in and spiraling out. Everything spirals out from the source in the center, which is 13. And then the 13 projects 6 inner and 6 outer worlds, right? To give us those 12 worlds we're talking about, those 12 dimensions. And so we're always spiraling in and out. And as we know, the spiral is the most sacred pattern in all of creation. The idea of any virtual reality game, right, is to level up. The gamer wants its avatars to level up. So it's going to keep putting situations, circumstances in front of its avatars to see how they're doing now on their evolutionary journey. How are they reacting now? How are they interacting now? Right? And that's what we're going through, sort of being tested. And we just keep passing our initiations because we're persevering, right? But it's like, now how do you react when someone confronts you with some kind of drama or an insult or some negative energy, right? Do you react or do you bless them? We're not going to be a doormat, right? We're going to stand firm in our power of who we are, but higher consciousness serves lower consciousness, right? And so it's our job as those awakening and supporting the ascension to be the radiant light of love always, no matter what we're confronted with. Bless you. Thank you. I honor you. Bless them on their journey. And maybe some people you have to love them from afar, right? Which is fine. But we can still bless them and send them love and light. And when you do that, your gamer self rejoices. My avatar is leveling up. And yes, it does require mastery of level 3 to move into level 5, right? And that is non-attachment, non-judgment. I do past life regressions for people because it's about 3D karmic resolution right now. We tune into these other 3D soul aspects in other 3D timelines. We still have karmic attachments to, or karmic entanglements with, right? And so through the past life regression, we can heal those, resolve those, and release that karmic entanglement from 3D. Non-judgment, I mean, this is a daily thing, right? He starts with looking in the mirror and judging yourself. Oh my goodness, what's another line? No, you look in the mirror and you're looking back at God. Right? We look at each other. I'm looking at God. Right? And no matter who you're confronted with, no matter what they look, feel, act like, you are looking at God. And so we stay out of non-judgment. Even non-judgment of the darkness serves the light. If it weren't for those bringing in the dark, you couldn't maintain a 3D reality of duality, like the yin and yang symbol, right? And so there are some people on this planet who have come here to serve the darkness. That is their role. Somebody has to herald humanity on the descension devolution path back into the dark ages, right? Someone has to play that role. So we don't judge them. We say, well, bless you for serving that role. We're going to serve the role of getting off the 3D wheel and ascend into the light, right? And so this is very liberating, and that's what this time is about, is consciousness liberation, like liberation from the 3D matrix, but also it's very liberating not to be judgmental about that which is taking place in the world, right? It's like, bless everything. My friend Matt Kahn, whatever arises, love that. All right? Sometimes it's challenging to do that, but everyone's serving their role. And so we just honor them for what they've come here to do. So this is just sort of the 12 dimensions and how they relate to the 12 strands of DNA, how they relate to the 12 chakras. We have the embodied 7 chakras, but then we have the 5 upper chakras and the 13th gateway chakra, which represents source consciousness. Of course, each one has an archetype, a mantra. So what are the ways that we can continue to ascend and activate our golden light body? Certainly is with igniting dormant DNA codes, right? Information is carried by the light. My husband's in telecom, and he explained to me how fiber optic cables carry information-filled light at the speed of light from computer hub to computer hub, right? And I'm like, whoa, information-filled light traveling at the speed of light, right? It's encoded photonic light, and that's what DNA is, right? Light that carries information, light that carries the advanced codes of creation. And that's what's happened in a golden age of enlightenment and what's happening right now. We are in alignment with the galactic center, which is in alignment with the great central sun at the core of creation. Hindus would call it Brahma. Divine consciousness flows through the galactic center. And when we're in alignment with it, we're receiving those supercharged encoded photons of light directly from the great central sun at the core of creation, right? And when we can open to receive these supercharged encoded photons, it raises our love light frequency and ignites dormant DNA strands. So one of the best things you can do is look at the sun, wear sunglasses, whatever, but when you stare at the sun, you will see a rainbow corona spiraling around it, and it becomes crystal clear that it is a portal. Because the great central sun shines through the galactic center through our solar center. And so we open to receive these supercharged encoded photons of light coming direct through our sun. And then we honor the lords and ladies of light who are transmitting them, right? And so I do a lot of work with downloading the creation codes. Biophotonics, we are biophotonic beings, and again, with an interest in science, biology is telling us that we are biophotonic beings. We are beings of light, and our DNA is light. It's all light, encoded light, streaming consciousness. And so the 7 embodied chakras each carry a beautiful affirmation. And the pineal gland is so important in this process. As we were talking about light, the pineal gland detects light, absorbs and transmits light. Streams of consciousness, like laser beams of encoded light going to and from the pineal gland through where? The third eye. Right? And so it becomes very important to open that third eye, to activate the pineal gland and open the third eye. And this is what Jesus said in the King James Bible. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore the eye be single, the whole body shall be full of light. The third eye represents single-pointed consciousness, focused on sending and receiving encoded light. And we know Jesus has achieved resurrection. And as we're at the Gates of Heaven event, opening the 7th chakra is symbolic of opening the gates of heaven, opening your connection to the divine source so the divine source can flow through you. So what we're going to do is a little Merkaba activation. Okay, close your eyes. Take some nice deep breaths. Awakening that Kundalini energy coiled at the base of the spine by breathing into it. Take a nice deep breath and send all of your energy and attention to a point at the base of your spine. Picture two intertwined serpents, one magnetic red and one electric blue. This is your electromagnetic life force, your prana. Breathing into these two intertwined serpents coiled there awakens them, enlivens them. Breathe the breath of life into your Kundalini energy and feel that spinning sensation at the base of your spine. Now on the inhalation, pull that Kundalini energy up your channel, up your spine, through your 7 embodied chakras. Take a nice deep breath and pull that Kundalini energy up your spine in one fell swoop. Feel the electromagnetic energy, those red and blue serpents ascending and braiding your spine, moving through your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus. Keep inhaling, pulling it up into your heart, expanding your heart, that emerald green wheel. Feel your heart opening. And then the Kundalini energy surges up your spine into your throat, opening your throat for clear communication to flow freely. Then the red and blue serpents plug into your brain stem. The red serpent pouring red magnetic energy into the left hemisphere of your brain. The electric blue serpent pouring electric blue energy into the right side of your brain. This is your masculine and feminine energy, the left and right hemisphere of your brain. And now picture an indigo blue wheel spinning at the center of your head. Breathe into it, releasing it to spin. Feel that indigo blue wheel spinning, and as it does, it merges the right and left hemispheres of your brain. The red pouring into the blue, pouring into the red, becoming one. You are perfectly balanced in your masculine and feminine energy. Notice at the center of this indigo blue wheel, a golden pine cone. This is your pineal gland. Ignite a golden flame in the center. And watch as your pineal gland burns brightly. This is the point from which you send and receive laser beams of streaming consciousness. Now, with your 6th chakra spinning, your pineal gland activated, with laser focus, focus on your 3rd eye. And as you do, you may feel a tingling sensation there. You may feel pressure. That is your 3rd eye opening wide so that you can access universal consciousness, the Akasha. Now focus all of your energy and attention on a violet wheel spinning and expanding above your crown. Breathe into it, releasing this divine chakra, this gate of heaven to spin. And notice a golden portal in the center. Open this crown portal. Open to receive divine blessings of love and light pouring into your crown from the highest heavens. Imagine this is like golden liquid love flowing into your crown and filling your entire head. This golden liquid love flowing down your neck, flowing down your shoulders. This golden nectar flowing down your arms, filling your hands and fingers. Feel this warm, golden liquid love fill your chest, flow down into your upper abdomen, down into your lower abdomen, filling your hips and pelvis. Feel this golden love flow into your thighs, filling your knees, flowing down your calves, filling your feet and toes. You are now filled with the golden liquid love of the divine source and radiating divine light. Imagine a golden spark of light ignited in every cell of your being. Sparkling with golden light now. Project your consciousness 8 inches above your head, and there visualize 2 golden pyramids, one upright and one inverted, merged. This is your Merkaba light vehicle. Seat your consciousness within it. Ascend your golden light body up through your crown portal to be seated within your Merkaba light vehicle. And there you are, above yourself. And from this 8th chakra, you can see in 360 degrees all around you. You can observe everything from above, giving you this higher perspective. You become the witness from this place. And here you are seated in higher consciousness as your higher self. You can coexist as your higher self and your lower self all at once and use your higher self in your Merkaba vehicle as a guide. This is your own personal spiritual guide, your higher self seated above you, and will always give you the higher consciousness and the higher perspective. Now, allow that Merkaba to descend upon you and become you, so that now you are your higher self. You are a living, walking, breathing being, Merkaba, light vehicle. Imagine now your body is surrounded by these golden pyramids, the tip of the upper pyramid just above your head, and the base at the top of your thighs. Now the inverted one, 8 inches beneath your feet, and the base at your chest. You are your Merkaba light vehicle. Let's activate it. Focus on the inverted pyramid and spin it in the clockwise direction. Now focus on the upright pyramid and spin it in the counterclockwise direction. Now notice these counter-rotating golden pyramids all around you and your golden light body activated within it. Within this golden light body, within your Merkaba light vehicle, your soul can be present as your higher self. You can soul travel within this Merkaba light vehicle. And you can be the living, breathing being, golden light being, radiating divine love and light, always and all ways. Heaven is here. It's simply a matter of resonating at that heavenly love light frequency to experience heaven on earth. Bless you all. Namaste. Welcome back. Mwah. Love you. Thank you.